Representative Townsend,
Thank you.
if you want to go ahead and present your bill.
Kratom sold in Georgia is more potent than morphine. Some individuals consume high doses of kratom, leading to negative effects such as confusion, impaired coordination, even death.
Incredibly horrendous side effects.
Total of 239 cases where mitragynine was detected by the state crime lab. Total of 33 deaths that have been attributed to mitragynine itself.
I firmly believe that there are a lot more cases out there, but they're just not being reported.
Exact same experience with fentanyl. This is going to continue to grow and become a bigger and bigger problem. And Georgia is ground zero. We're one of the only states in the country that says that this is legal and we should sell it here.
You do have a problem in your communities, in all of your communities.
We lost our son,
22 years old.
To come home and tell your daughter that her dad's not coming home.
It's all taken away because of a legal, unregulated plant that he purchased at a gas station near his home.
And we're seeing upwards of 100 cases each month now.
We've had physicians tell us it's a problem.
We support this legislation.
And it is essentially out front with the Skittles that one of the gentlemen said earlier.
I was a police officer in Georgia for 12 years, spent most of that time, about 8 years, in the city of Sandy Springs. I have narcotics training. I spent 3 years on the SWAT team serving arrest warrants. I've done all sorts of things. I'm here because I want to share what I've learned in my investigation looking into this drug. So I actually brought some kratom with me because I thought we should figure out, like, what are we really talking about here? And so what you have here are two different kinds. These are extracts. We've talked about these. These are extremely potent variants of kratom. These are more raw leaf. Either it's generally in a powdered form, and it comes in pills and varieties. I want to try to get you to understand the difference between these. It would take you 20 of these pills to equal the amount of mitragynine that's in this little 8.8 milliliter container. It would take 26 of these pills to equal the amount of 7-hydroxymitragynine, which is actually the more dangerous of the two drugs in these counters. All of these are from brands that are AKA approved. None of them meet the Georgia law as far as labeling, and in fact, none of them meet the AKA's own standards for their GMP program.
We've reported 65 kratom manufacturers from the American Kratom Association to the FDA over the past 30 months, and the FDA has done little or nothing about them. 3 that they've issued warning letters to. We have given them documentation, and the FDA refused to act.
Thank you.
Both sides agree that extracts should be banned.
These concentrates and these extracts are dangerous, highly addictive drugs. Those need to be on Schedule 1.
I truly suggest that you do consider taking extracts off of shelves.
We're going to go back to what Mr. Haddow said, quote, "We agree that 7-OH is a bad actor and potentially a problem, but that it occurs in such low levels that it has zero impact and there's no reason to be concerned, unless it's enhanced. That enhanced kratom products are adulterated kratom products, and that the FDA should use, and I quote, their regulatory authority to ban those products, and they should refer, that is the FDA, any manufacturer to the Department of Justice for prosecution, because an adulterated product that is killing people should be removed from the market." Ladies and gentlemen, this is an adulterated product that killed Ethan Pope, that's killing other people in this country, and it should be removed from the market. I also want to talk about raw leaf kratom and why this also should be banned. Georgia has had their law in place for 3 years. The AKA has been regulating, or I should say inspecting kratom for longer than that, and none of these can get it right. Not one of these meets the labeling requirement. In fact, this one doesn't even tell me how much mitragynine or 7-OH is in the product at all. These two have estimates. These two say what they are.
Do people get addicted to it?
Yes, some people can.
We found a note on the kitchen counter when John went to collect his things that said, "Stop taking kratom."
I'm a center administrator for the Day Reporting Center up in Lookout Mountain. I brought with me today one of my participants.
I made the decision to get clean in January of 2018 and have a better life. I turned to kratom because I thought it was a safe alternative. I bought a brand that had 75 capsules in a package. These would last me 5 to 6 days. A month into using, those 75 capsules were only lasting about a day and a half. I went from taking 6 capsules twice a day to taking kratom every 30 minutes. I couldn't even go an hour without thinking about taking a dose. It got so bad that I would have to get up in the middle of the night to dose because I couldn't sleep due to withdrawal symptoms. If anyone tells you that kratom doesn't get you high, they are only trying to glorify kratom and justify their use of it.
The program has about 100 participants. I could have brought 30 people to sit in here and give this same story.
Don't believe you can use it as a class 2 or anything lower than that because there's no proven medical use.
I'm not making an FDA drug claim. Hasn't passed that test and never will.
And we're talking about lack of studies. We're talking about how constituents are talking about the great effects of kratom and how it does this, how it does that.
I have compound fractures in my spine. I have degenerative disc disease. And within a month, I was walking on my own without assistance. I'm now the adoptions coordinator for a licensed nonprofit.
What we're hearing is anecdotal reports. We're hearing strictly non-scientific reports about kratom's benefits.
I used to keep the house temperature at 77. Now I keep around 68. There's something about kratom that warms me up inside.
Pretend like it's a science based on the science that they paid for when the GBI scientists that just sat here told you. All those are animal studies.
The studies have been done on animals.
Every day, I get a phone call from someone who lost a loved one. Just in the last 2 weeks, I got 2 phone calls from different families whose child had died that day. And they wanted me to talk to the coroner and to tell the coroner what to do because they knew their kid had been taking kratom and thought it might be responsible. And so I talked to the coroner. They don't know what kratom is. They've never even heard of it. And they're supposed to somehow trust me, some guy on the internet that they've never even heard of, to go and run some tests. They're not doing it. I am not equipped as a parent, as a father, as a person to have these phone calls with these parents and grieving families. Give the people who do have the capabilities, the tools they need. When you put this on the Schedule 1, Schedule 2, whatever you do, you're putting this on the roster of drugs that get tested for.
They know we cannot test for it.
So that data comes out over time, and then you will see what you're really dealing with.
At the very least, to put the product behind the counter, even in the convenience stores, and require a signature log identification as you do.
Don't be the person at the end of the day saying, I wish I'd done more.